Want to become a tank in the Division 2 and max out your armor to 500k plus? Well, in today's video, I'm going to show you guys exactly how to do it. This is LaserBolt. Today I wanted to put together a build that if you're playing the game, you're going to want to work on due to the fact that I believe this build is not only going to be good with the brand new PvP changes that are coming our way, but also with the brand new raid. Now this particular build focuses primarily on getting your armor as high as you possibly can and becoming a tank. We are also going to be using a couple of talents that are going to benefit us and allow us to do really good damage with our weapons and allow us to maintain that high armor, but still allow us to output a lot of damage. Now, before we get started on the build, do want to remind you guys about our giveaway. We're giving away 2 free copies of Borderlands 3 for the system of your choice to enter and participate. It's super easy. All you have to click is the link down below where it says Join Bold Nation, and you guys will be automatically entered. As a friendly reminder, want to remind you guys we are covering other games like Borderlands 3, Destiny's Shadowkeep, so if you guys like loot and shooters just like the Division 2, make sure you guys check out the videos for those games as well. Alright, so now let's get on to the build, but before we get started on the build, I gotta be honest with you guys. Putting this build together is gonna be very difficult in the sense if you don't have the pieces, it's gonna be a grind and actually getting them. In addition to that, guys, if you haven't been on the clan vendor grind where you guys are bouncing back and forth from different clan vendors and getting the gear pieces that have been dropping, it's going to be a little bit harder to put this build together because RNG has to be in your favor. But if you have been in the clan grind, you pretty much have the majority of the stats for this particular build and probably would be able to put it together. Who knows, guys? You might have some pieces that you probably are overlooking that might help you put this build together. This build is going to make you super tanky, guys. You're going to have 500 armor. It is insane. In addition to that, not only are you going to have 500 armor, but the DPS you're going to be outputting is actually going to be pretty well because their synergy works so well with this particular build. Now, like always, guys, we're going to get started with the attributes. Now, for the attributes, we have a very interesting build. We're going to be targeting a couple things. Number one, on the yellow side, we're going to be targeting a number 5 that's going to be working with a specific talent that's going to allow us to output more damage. So your target for the yellow utility is going to be 5. I'm pretty sure if you copy the build exactly the way I have it here, you'll be getting 5. If you do a couple of changes, you might get it up to 6, but your target should be 5. Now, as far as the blues are concerned, this one could go as high as you possibly want. For example, for the current gear that I have right now, I have it at 11, but if I move a couple pieces around, I could definitely get it up to 12, even 13. But if you guys copy the build that I'm going to show you guys on screen, you're going to be able to hit 12. Now, I currently am only able to hit 11 because I'm missing a piece, but make sure when you guys are hunting down these pieces, copy the build so you guys can hit that 12. But I guess if I had to put a requirement for the blues, I'm going to leave it at 10, but definitely pay attention to the gear I'm going to be mentioning because some of this gear is requirements to have in order to hit that 500 armor. Now, as far as the reds are concerned, you could go with any red number. We're looking at least target 3 or more. So theoretically speaking, the build will look like a 3, 12, 5. That's what your build will look like once you have it on screen. You could probably go higher than 3, maybe hit a 4 or 5. It all depends if you get really lucky with RNG. But with that being said, let's talk about weapons. Now, for the optimal build, guys, I'm going to suggest your primary to be an Eagle Bearer. If for some reason you don't have the Eagle Bearer, then go with the P416. If you have a P416, then you're going to want to make sure you have Optimus in your weapon, which is your first talent. Weapon damage is increased by 3% for every 10% ammo missing from the magazine. Your second talent, of course, is going to be Allegro, going to increase your fire rate by 10%. And your third talent is going to be Protective Reload. This is going to play very well with our armor build. It says, while equipped, this weapon grants 10% bonus armor while reloading. So it's really good one to have because you'll be getting that 10% bonus of your armor, which won't show up in the stats, but it's still going to give you more armor. Now, if for some reason you do not have an Eagle Bearer and you only have a custom P416, run the same talents for the P416, and on your secondary, either use the Shatterbox or use the Nemesis. Both of them work pretty well with this build. Now, for your third weapon or your third dairy, like I love to call it, doesn't really matter what you have here. The only thing that matters is the last holster talent, and we're going to be putting Protected Deploy. It says, while equipped, this weapon grants 10% bonus armor while deploying a skill. This is going to be helpful because you are going to be using quite a lot of skills when you're running this build because, as you guys know, utilities are in a pretty good state right now, and 5 is actually a really good number that would still allow us to use really good skills and get the best out of them. And now that we got the weapons out of the way, now it's time for us to take a look at the gear, and this is where you guys have to pay really close attention. Now, for our mask, we're going to be running a Gilligard mask, and the reason why we're running Gilligard is because we want to tap into that +5 total armor. That's going to be crucial, guys. Think about it. +5 total armor seems like a little bit, but once you guys add all the armor, it kind of multiplies it and makes it really good. Now, as far as attributes for the mask, we're running a 1 blue, 1 red, and 1 yellow. This particular combo is very important because we want to make sure we hit that 5 utility mod, because the talent we're going to be running on here is Spotter, and this is going to help us do more damage with our weapon, because what Spotter does is it says +20% weapon damage to pulsed enemies. Very crucial to have Spotter on this build, guys, because remember, we are going to be lacking a little bit of power with this build, and this is going to allow us to get that extra power that we need, and it just works perfectly with this build, and it has really good synergy. Now onto the backpack, and this backpack is going to have a lot of requirements, guys, so you got to make sure you perk your ears, get your notepad, and make sure you start writing things down, or make sure you guys save the video so you guys can come back and reference to it. So here we go. So for the backpack, once again, we're running the Gilligard. So we're going to be doing the Gilligard because we want that 20+ hazard protection. This build is also really good, guys, when it comes to doing the raid. In addition to the reason why we're running another Gilligard set here is because we want to tap into that third talent, which is the +15 pulse skill power, which goes really good with our Spotter mod. So you guys want to make sure you pay close attention. Now, this backpack is very important. Once again, it's a Gilligard. The one I currently have is called Big Horn Pack. That's what you want to be looking out for. The reason why is because this is able to drop with a total of 3 blues in your attributes, 1 red, and 1 yellow. This is just a very good backpack to have. And it's actually pretty interesting because you only have to be looking out for one particular talent when you guys get this backpack, or at least roll that talent into that backpack. Whatever is on the backpack doesn't really matter, but as long as you have this talent that I'm going to mention, then you guys should be good as gravy. You want to make sure it comes with Harden. Basically what Harden does, it gives you a +10% armor. This is going to be a must requirement for this backpack. Another must requirement is I'm going to give you guys the numbers that the backpack needs to have in order for you to be able to hit that 500 mark. Now, one of the requirements for when you get this drop of the backpack is you want to make sure it drops with armor and total armor. Those are the 2 requirements that you want to make sure the backpack drops with. Now, these are the numbers that they need to have. Now, these are not God roll numbers. These are the lowest numbers you could possibly get. One thing I want you to keep in mind, if your armor is higher than the number I'm going to mention, then the total armor percent doesn't have to be as high as the one I'm going to mention. Basically, the higher your armor is, the less total armor percent you need. So for this particular build, you want to make sure you get an armor piece with 39k. Now, the God roll, I believe, is 42k or 41k. So this is still a very decent roll. If you guys have been doing the clan vendor hopping, you should at least have in your inventory a 38 one, because I believe like 4 weeks ago there was one sold. If you don't have it, then definitely look for one that has that high amount of armor. Now, I believe the total armor, you could get one with 21%. I believe that one's still available right now if you want to go pick that up. I think it's 21.5. If you don't know where to pick it up, definitely check out my video on the must get items of this week so you guys can pick that item up as well. Now, once again, I'm going to repeat myself. If your armor is higher than 39k, your total armor could be lower than 26. Okay, just want to make sure you guys keep that in mind. And those are the main things you need to look for the backpack. Let me go ahead and do you guys a quick rundown. It has to be a Gilligard, Big Horn Pack. Make sure it drops with armor and total armor, and make sure the talent you're running on there is Hardened. That is what's going to make this build happen for you guys. Now on to the chest. Now for the chest, once again, guys, we're running the Gilligard. Once again, we're running the Gilligard to get that +15 pulse skill power, which is going to tie in perfectly with our Spotter mod. In addition to that, guys, we're looking for the Iguana Gilligard. That's going to be the item name. So Gilligard backpack Iguana. What that's going to allow you to do, it's going to drop with 2 blues and 1 red as far as attributes, and it's going to give you a chance to add 2 additional blues in your gear mod slot plus 1 yellow. Just like the backpack, there is going to be a requirement for this one as well. We want to make sure that we get the talent called Harden, which is going to give us a +20 armor. That's going to stack up with the other Harden. So instead of 10, we're getting a total of 20 because we're using 2 hardened talents. Now, another requirement for the chest piece is going to be the attributes that you get. You want to make sure you get armor and total armor. Now, the numbers you want to hit with this is going to be crucial to you being able to hit that 500 armor. Remember, once again, just like the backpack, the number I'm going to give you guys in the armor, if it's higher than the number I'm going to mention, then your total armor does not have to be the percent that I'm saying. So for this particular build, my armor is 45k. That is going to be my armor. Now my total armor is at 36%. Now 36% is almost a god roll. I believe it's the actual god roll for the total armor. So for some reason, if your total armor is like a 28 or like a 30, then you want to make sure that you have a higher armor stat to make sure you hit that 500 armor. So you're able to play with the numbers just like you're able to play with the backpack. Based on the number of your armor, it's going to determine how much total armor you have required. Now onto the pair of gloves. Now for the gloves, I went with the Alp Summit. Reason I went with the Alp Summit is because I want to tap into that 10% cooldown reduction. Remember, we have a 5 in utility, so we are going to be using our utilities quite often. This is not a requirement as far as this build is concerned. You could go with any other pair of gloves as long as you're able to roll a yellow in here. So you could even run with the BTSU exotic gloves here if for some reason you don't have this particular item. But what I did with it is I went ahead and put Terminated as far as my talent. Terminated is a talent that doesn't get mentioned too much. It's basically depleting an enemy's armor, grants a plus 35 skill damage for 15 seconds. Really effective one to have, especially since we're going to be using some of our skills. So once again, guys, Alp Summit, 1 red, 1 yellow, and Terminated as our talent. Now onto the holster. Now for the holster, we're running the Fender's Group AB. Reason why we're running that, you guys should already know, we're getting that plus 10 assault rifle damage from the Fender's Group. And as far as attributes, 1 yellow, 1 blue. It doesn't really matter as long as it jumps with 1 yellow and blue. Far as talent we're going here is we're going with Devastating. We could definitely run another talent. Reason why we're running Devastated is because we want to make sure we get that weapon damage. You could even go with Precise on here, which is the plus 15 headshot damage. But I think Devastated is actually the best one out of all of them because it buffs all your weapons, not just one particular stat. Last but not least, guys, we're going with the knee pads. For the knee pads, we're going with the Gilligards. And on this one, guys, we're just looking at everything to drop as in blue. So we want 3 blues on here, guys. Now, one of the biggest requirements for this one, of course, guys, is going to be the attribute total armor. You want to make sure that when you get these knee pads, they drop with total armor. This is what's pretty much going to round off everything to make us hit that really high armor. You want to make sure that this drops with total armor. Now, you could technically have this drop with armor if you wanted to, but I think total armor, it's a more easier stat. I'm going to give you both stats on what number you're looking to get, whether you get armor or if you get total armor, because both ways are going to help you achieve either end goal. So if you are getting the armor blue roll, you want to make sure that your armor 16k is what you're targeting if it drops with armor. If you don't get the armor roll but you get the total armor roll, then your total armor has to be 12. You want to make sure that your total armor is 12. Now the god roll for this one is 13.5. So if you're able to get a 13.5 one, you guys are going to be pretty good regardless. You remember, you could get the 13.5 but just re-rolling knee pads. And you guys should be able to roll that frequently, so you guys could shoot for that 13.5, getting it off a gear item. Now I believe this build is by far one of the best builds just for the simple fact that it makes you tanky. It lets you utilize your utilities, and in addition to that, it gives you a good amount of weapon damage. This build in particular not only is going to be very effective for the raid, because you'll be able to sustain a lot of damage and not go down frequently, and it's also really good for PvP because you'll be able to absorb a lot of damage. In addition to that, with that spotter perk, you'll be able to deal damage as well and still utilize your utilities. So I highly recommend you guys start working towards building this particular build. Now on to the numbers, guys. So we're looking for the armor of 500. That is the target, whether it's 501, 502, 503, whatever it may be. As long as you hit 500, you guys should be good to go. As far as health, you're looking at about 50k plus health. And as far as all weapon damage, we're looking at roughly at 30 is the number I'm going to give you. If you pretty much copy this build, it's going to be higher than 30, but I'm just wanted to give you guys a base point. Headshot damage, we're looking to target 45. And assault rifle damage, we're looking to target 30 as well. But if you copy this build, you're going to be really high in assault rifle damage. It's probably going to be like around 39 or so. Now, as far as the specialist you should pick, I usually go with the survivalist or the sharpshooter, but I'm going to leave that up to you. Personally, I like the survivalist just because it lets me have those incendiary grenades, so I really enjoy those. But that's going to be up to your criteria. Now, I do hope you guys do try to put this build together. If you have any questions in regards to the build, drop them down below in the comment section down below. If you have any suggestions for a build you would like to see Also, let me know in the comment section down below. I do hope you found this video helpful and informative. If you did, guys, do me the huge favor, drop a like on this video, share this video with your friends because that does help us out a lot. Let's try to get this video to 200 likes. I know we are capable of doing that. If you want to show additional love and support, do consider joining the Bolt Nation. To join, it's super easy. All you have to do is click the link down below where it says Join Bolt Nation, and you guys will unlock exclusive features only found in the channel, like amazing emotes, raid carries, and all that fun stuff. Thank you guys for watching, and don't forget WGATAP, and I will catch you guys on the next video.